In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern, taking another look here at the severe cold and multiple potential snowstorms that we are still, as of today, seeing on our model runs. There's no other way to put it, so let's just dive into it. And I guess before we do, we're trying a different format today, so I want to get you guys' feedback. So please comment down below how you like it. But we're diving into the model guidance first today, then going over the current conditions at the very end. Now, as we just take a look at our European model right out the gate. So what we see for Friday here is some thunderstorm activity. We currently have thunderstorms going on for areas in the south central states. We're going to see this moving eastward for tomorrow. Midwest, deep south, some of the mid-Atlantic as well, seeing some of this activity. We clearly have a split jet where the southern jet, or our atmospheric river as it's been called, is moving through the deep south now and heading eastward, and our northern jet isn't diving super far southward, but we can see this kind of actively flowing like this. This is going to come together at certain points, and that is when we're going to cash in on some potential snowfall. Let's just keep going though towards Saturday the 22nd, and a lot of this showery activity or maybe even thunderstorms will be located for the southeast. Meanwhile, we have another system here for the southwest starting to move onshore, so potentially Southern California seeing precipitation for Saturday the 22nd, and also along our northern jet. It's kind of funny, we have a system moving in for the northern jet and the southern jet here. And we can see a little bit of Washington State getting in on some precipitation there along that northern system as well. Sunday here on the 23rd, a lot of this just expands. We can see a storm system again in the northwest causing some mountainous snowfall and some lower elevation rainfall. For the Four Corner states, same thing, low elevation rainfall, high elevation snowfall, really. Now, as we keep going through towards Monday here on the 24th, what we see is this southern system really starts to get going, a low between Kansas and Oklahoma. This will mostly present itself as a severe weather and thunderstorm risk here for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, maybe even Louisiana there as well. So some thunderstorm and severe weather potential. I will mention today we have a severe weather risk. This risk looked worse in the long range than it does today, and I'm not saying that so that you don't take it seriously, but it had the potential to be worse looking as we were looking at the model guidance about a week ago, because it ended up becoming a little oversaturated. We have a lot more precipitation out there, and typically you're going to see your worst severe weather when we have a cold front rolling through into warm and clear conditions ahead of that cold front. But we're really seeing just a lot of showery and thunderstorm activity all over the place, which actually it seems worse, but that actually makes things a little less potent for severe weather typically. Tuesday on the 25th, and I guess I'm saying that I should mention to note that this one looks clear out ahead of it, but so did the one that we're dealing with today. So we're going to continue to monitor this, but the trend has been over time. They tend to look oversaturated as we get closer, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens here. Wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. We're just going to have to watch it. Still looking pretty clear out ahead of things here for the deep south and into kind of like the lower Appalachian area for Tuesday on the 25th. So again, thunderstorm chances and severe weather chances would be present. We have a low here between the Hudson Bay and Great Lakes, which, as you guys know, causes an increased possibility for colder air moving eastward. We can see another system along that northern jet taking place here with some high elevation snowfall in the northwest, low elevation rainfall. Again, as we keep going towards Wednesday on the 26th, the day before Thanksgiving, we can see this trough is beginning to dip into the east, so the colder air is moving in. The eastern seaboard is seeing milder air still around for Wednesday here, but this should be moving out. We have showers and thunderstorms present as well throughout that warmer sector. But for Thursday here on Thanksgiving, a couple of interesting things happening. We can see this northern jet is relatively active. There's precipitation along it, including Rocky Mountain snowfall there. This colder air is dipping further down for the east, so we're seeing colder and colder air moving in for the central and eastern states. And we can see activity along this southern jet moving up into the deep south. So you've kind of got this close call for a link up right here. And we'll have to see how far the cold air gets down. But what ends up happening on this model run, I should note this model run, because we've seen the models be back and forth on this. This is not locked in. This is not guaranteed. This is purely a chance at this point, but what this model represents is what is possible if everything kind of comes together, because this looks to me like probably what would be the worst case scenario on today's 0Z European model run. We see a nor'easter developing off of the North Carolina and Virginia coast we begin to get southern Appalachian Mountain snowfall, and I know this is going to excite a lot of you guys, but please pump the brakes. It's okay to be excited about the potential, but that's all it is, potential. We see a lot of rainfall along that more mid-Atlantic and southeastern coastline. Probably would bring quite a bit of wind, heavy rainfall, and potential coastal flooding, because this looks like a semi-hefty nor'easter. I would call this a moderate nor'easter, so impactful for areas like the Outer Banks, the eastern shore of Virginia there, along the Delmarva in general, and even up into Jersey. As we keep going towards, this is 7 a.m. on Saturday the 29th here, again, that'll be a couple of days after Thanksgiving, and we could see the whole Appalachian Mountain Range and even extending into parts of the Mid-Atlantic like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and then southern New England here, getting moderate to heavy snowfall, and this low is intensifying still, 991. And again, this is worst case scenario. I would say this low is placed perfectly for a snowfall opportunity on this particular model run. And also the timing is perfect with the cold moving in. So you have two factors that are absolutely perfect on this particular model run, but we've seen it flip-flopping with the timing and location. So again, this is probably your worst case scenario. And as we move overnight, I mean, we see even down as far south as Philadelphia, Delaware, and basically the entire state of New Jersey into the entirety of New England seeing heavy snowfall, and that is a 982 millibar low pressure center. So again, not only is the timing and the placement perfect, but it is intensifying as well. So I'm just trying to really iterate that. I know it's getting like, I've kind of hammered the point home, but this is absolutely a monster. 975 there now, kind of to the east and southeast of Maine. This would be a crazy heavy hitter for New England. We could still see at this point, there's a lot more connection between the southern jet and northern jet off the west. So now we're just getting kind of like pure moisture and cold moving along a singular jet through more of the central west coast. So we're seeing tons of storm systems moving through for California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, and the Rocky Mountains and the northern plains. I mean, we can see tons of wintry activity all over the place along that singular jet stream now happening just for the late November timeframe. And we do get kind of this plains, Midwest, Great Lakes type system set up here as well. It's coming in a little flatter. You know, we've seen a lot of model guidance showing them move more northward, kind of wrapping around a trough, but this is moving in much flatter, which is what the GFS model was actually showing for a few days there. So interesting to see this European model coming in with a lot more of a flat look. And then we even see the Northeast kind of cash in on a moderate snow system, light to moderate snow system at the end of this one for early December as well. We kind of get another system pretty similar. Again, your northern jet coming in like this at this point. Your southern jet really coming in like this. And we get this meetup in here for the Midwest and Plains again for the early December timeframe. And that also brings another light to moderate snow event for the Northeast. So again, when I say multiple opportunities for snowfall, I mean it. And this is all in the long range, right? We're looking at the potential, but there is multiple opportunities from what the models are showing based on how active that southern jet is, and then also based on how much Arctic air we really have moving in once we get to late November into early December. There should be opportunities. That's not even a guarantee that we cash in on even one. We could cash in on all of them. We could cash in on none of them. Probably what's most likely is we cash in on one or two. You know, we miss out on maybe the third one or the second one here. It's kind of hard to tell, but somewhere in the middle is more likely, but it's all speculation. This is pretty far out, but we're seeing the puzzle pieces coming together on these models. And even as we reach towards December, early December, this is the 5th. This is the furthest we can go on this model run. This southern jet is ripping, I mean, absolutely ripping into the eastern states here. And we can see the northern jet linked up with it pretty closely the whole way through. So we're going to see potential, I think. The GFS model, kind of as we just move through it, this is the 12Z. I got to actually refresh this. And what we see happening here is a little less connection. We do get a snow system much further inland for actually closer to Thanksgiving. This is the 26th into the 27th, and we get a little bit of Ohio Valley action. But this storm system just kind of outpaces the Arctic air. And that's, you know, an issue that the GFS model tends to have. And I guess I should mention, I just made a course within our Discord server that I've been advertising daily, particularly on the GFS model, and we talked about this. So if you're curious about those things, or really if you just want to join our community, it's been super active. We had like probably 39 more of you guys. I'll put it on screen. I'll put the names again like I did yesterday, but we had so many of you guys join yesterday as well. And it's been so exciting talking with you guys and just being able to interact We have a ton of free features, so you can join for free using the QR code on the top right corner of your screen right there, or the links to the description or pinned comment. You can check it out today. We have a bunch of free stuff. We have a bunch of premium services as well, so just join in, see what it's all about, and there's tons of cool stuff for you guys to enjoy, including just the interactions with other weather nerds like us, because I'm one too, and I'm in there talking with you guys all the time. So join it today. It's super, super cool. We can see this storm system brings some mountainous northeast snowfall, but really outpaces that cold air again, which is a really known issue for the GFS model. That doesn't mean that every single time it's wrong when it shows this, but it just has this tendency to overdo that effect. I would say 6 or 7 times out of 10. And I don't know how I keep doing the 6-7 thing, but there I go again. The Arctic air arrives after for the 28th, 29th, and then we kind of see a flatter system. Well, really not. I mean, this one moves straight northward on this particular model run. And then we get the Arctic air sort of moving eastward again. We don't get any more link-ups, but the northern jet is there, very active, and the southern jet, just like the European model, is too, but there's not a whole lot of connection. There's a little bit of distance between them here. And that's probably the main issue with this model run. And that's what I mean when I say it varies every single day. I want to show you another model run here, the 18Z from yesterday, just to give you an idea of how much differences we're seeing, because on this particular model run, we get a lot more action. And look, the system comes in a lot later. This is the 29th. This is the 28th here. This is the 29th, and it's a little further inland, obviously, than the European model, but we get a more major system in this instance. So we're getting variance, serious variance, model run to model run here. We have a 998, I think it is, right there over West Virginia. Tons of snowfall for the Ohio Valley, northeast there. A little further inland than the European model, like I mentioned, but still there. Then we start to get this flatter kind of storm action from the Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and then into the Northeast again here on that model run. So we're getting this flip-flopping. Be aware of it. The biggest takeaway, in my opinion, would be that we need to watch this entire area here, and we somewhat need to watch the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast as well, as there's just potential there. So that's the way to look at it when we're looking at the long range. Nothing as far as exact location or exact amounts is guaranteed, but we can see these signals and they can be very legitimate. Looking at the total precipitation here, a ton for the Northwest, although it's probably going to be below average. They average so much. And then we actually have a huge uptick in the overall activity from this atmospheric river heading eastward for a lot of folks. So looking at the anomalies, like I just said, I mean, we have pretty well above average for a lot of areas here where that southern stream is moving through. Some above average, some below for the west, so pretty neutral. Looking at the total snowfall on this European model run that we just watched, we could see major snowfall in the east due to that nor'easter that we see on this particular model run. And then we can also see quite a bit from this more north-central system as well. Both of them on this particular model run would be 10 inches plus. This northeast one for New England would be maybe 1 to 2 feet. So these are hefty systems that this model is currently showing. But for contrast, I mean, we look at the GFS model, that's the 18Z model run from yesterday, but the 12Z, we get some snowfall in these areas, more for your the usual suspects like the Adirondacks, the White Mountains, the Green Mountains there, and then nearby the lakes. And then we get a more mild system, maybe like 6 to 10 inches for most of the Midwest and into the Great Lakes. So there's, again, huge disparity from model run to model run. The temperatures here, we're seeing warmer, colder, kind of back and forth. And then we finally get this final blast of cold air that really moves in for next week, or next weekend, Saturday the 29th here, right after Thanksgiving has kind of been the time frame we've been watching all along. The southeast ridge is flexing, so we get this warmer air trying to infiltrate this area, and what happens is this colder air kind of moves up and around that. It wants to avoid it like oil and water, so it's kind of wrapping around. And this is kind of a more recent trend on these models, and this is probably why we're getting bigger snow systems moving up for the Northeast, because in a purely cold pattern, a lot of the time these storms are going to be too far offshore. You kind of need some variance for that storm track to be more favorable like this, and that's the exact setup where that stuff starts to happen. So, something that seems like a bad thing for cold and snow can be a really good thing for snow oftentimes. It's pretty complicated. The GFS model run, I'm going to refresh this one as well because this is the 12Z. And what we see is, again, back and forth, cold and warm, mostly warmer, to be honest, before Thanksgiving. And then right after Thanksgiving, I mean, we see this Arctic air flow in. This GFS model run, way more aggressive with the southeast ridge, but we do flatten back out with the Arctic air again. for early December. But again, the deep south and southeast staying a bit warmer on these recent model runs, which could change. It could stay. We'll have to see, but that is a difference that we're seeing as of late here. So let's move in. This is what the past 20 days have looked like, which is the entirety of November so far. There was some confusion in the comments about this a little bit yesterday. When I show this map, this is just for us to see how November has gone so far. That's all it is. So this is the data that has been collected for the temperature so far in November compared to normal. We can see above normal for the west and central states, a bit cooler in the east, which is going to be getting even colder looking once we reach the late November timeframe, and it's going to be a race to see if we end up with below or above normal temperatures here. Honestly, it's going to be pretty close. The satellite imagery, currently we can see this atmospheric river really ripping across, again, the south central states, the four corner states, and now more into the Midwest and Ohio Valley. We kind of see this northern jet really dipping down for the west as well currently. So a lot of action out there. And let's look at the current conditions. I didn't even press play. I gotta press play on this. But we do have some showery activity along the west here. So states like California, Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado. And then the more interesting thing happening right now is we do have some low pressure here nearby Oklahoma and Texas. So we'll zoom into this. And this is a lower resolution radar because we're looking at the whole nation. But there is a lot of thunderstorm activity happening already throughout this kind of corridor from Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, into Illinois and Indiana. Most of this stuff is your thunderstorms, and then we do have these like northern showers. But again, it's just really saturated in here compared to what we saw in the model guidance. So it has lessened the severe weather chance a bit, but we'll be watching for activity to potentially take place. And there is a bit of showery activity moving across the Great Lakes as well. Well, with all that being said, be sure to subscribe. We upload every single day, and don't forget to tell me what you think of this new format, kind of doing it the other way around. I'll do whatever you guys prefer. It doesn't really matter to me, but I just want to make sure you guys get the info that you're looking for without having to wait through like 5 minutes of stuff first. So let me know what you think. Be sure to hit the bell icon as well. You can get notifications every time we upload. Like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.